Something is up in Houston. Sources tell our Tim McMahon and Adrian Wojnarowski that both Russell Westbrook and James Harden have expressed uncertainty about the direction of the franchise through direct conversations and also their representatives and the Rockets front office. Now, neither Harden nor Westbrook has requested a trade yet. We want to be clear. Although in Tim and Woj's story, they say that either scenario is eventually possible, that either one of them, it's plausible they could request a trade. This is a franchise that, of course, has made changes at both general manager and head coach this offseason, so there's been a lot going on there. Perk, both you and Chiney are in Houston. I want to start with you, Houston native. Well, I guess you're in Houston. She's the Houston native. Do you have any doubts, though, Perk, about Harden and Westbrook's future in your town?
Yes, Rachel, I'm scared. I am very scared. And Tillman Fertitta is really dropping the ball right now. And look, James and Russ are not happy. I talked to reliable sources, and I told them I wouldn't mention their name today, but James and Russ are not happy. James have not been answering the phone for the ownership or the front office or even Coach Silas for about 2 weeks now. Russell Westbrook is not happy. The reason why is because they don't feel included in the process. The front office, the owner, they're not including them in decision making. And newsflash, your franchise players gotta know what's going on. Tillman Fertitta, it's common sense, it's not rocket sciences. But to some people, common sense is not that damn common.
I think we'll go from like the 713 and the 832 to me. I rock the 281 when it comes to Houston. I am not surprised. Perk knows what I'm talking about. I'm not surprised to hear all of this out of the Houston Rockets and this organization, because to go through change in the GM where he owned, and I'm talking about Daryl Morey, he owned the vision, and now change at coach, you have to really find direction now, and that is not easy because before, this is the team that had multiple visions. I mean, practically a revolving door around their star and James Harden. And I always talk about the different iterations of the Rockets teams we've seen, starting with Dwight Howard and then Chris Paul, and then we have small ball, and then you have the tag team with Russell Westbrook. I think Houston is spinning, and they've been spinning for a while trying to compete, but they really have to dig their feet into the ground when it comes to philosophy, when it comes to vision and direction. Now, I'll just lastly say this. You know, people forget that Russell Westbrook was hooping before the break. You know, Russ and James are 31 and 32 years old. And so looking at how these two are in their prime or like entering the later stages of their prime, you have to make the most of it now. So this is the time now to figure out with a long-term plan. You know, no longer short-term. There needs to be a clear identity and direction moving forward. And as Perk said, there absolutely needs to be communication, or else this like make or miss team will continue to be at the mercy of everyone else.
This was incredibly predictable, so much so that an idiot like me actually predicted it in my preseason column from like 9 years ago, whenever preseason was, that there would be trade rumblings about Harden and Westbrook by the middle of this coming season. I guess this qualifies as it's already here. I think this is a team that entered last season with slightly outsized expectations, an owner who is clearly championship or bust, a coach who was a lame duck, a GM who ended up leaving. It's just a lot of chaos. They didn't meet their expectations. They traded the last remaining draft capital they really had for Russ and then Robert Covington. They have essentially no youth left, no draft picks left. The league is starting to even pass them by a little bit in terms of where are they on the pecking order next year. Are they a top 5 championship contender, top 6, top 7? Right now, from what I've heard today, the Rockets are trying to remain calm. There's nothing imminent. They think they can repair whatever needs to be repaired and enter next season with both these guys on the team, hopefully get off to a strong start. But I got news for them. The ball's not in their court. The ball's in James Harden's court more than anyone else's. And the moment he walks in there and says, hey, we gave it a shot, I've had enough, is the moment the whole situation blows up. We haven't reached that point yet, but this is like entirely predictable, and it's not surprising to me at all.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.